Just because your business makes money does not mean it will be easy to sell. In fact, some of the best private businesses in New Zealand are hard to sell for one simple reason. The owner is still too important. The customers, the staff, the suppliers, they all rely on the owner. From the outside, it looks like a profitable business. But from a buyer's point of view, the person who makes it work is trying to leave. In this video, I want to walk through 3 things that can make a good business hard to sell and what you can start doing about them before you talk to a broker, buyer, or advisor. Before we get started, my name is Andrew Malcolm. I own a chemicals and financial services business, and I've looked at hundreds of businesses over the years as a buyer. If you've built a business over 20, 30, or 40 years, of course it relies on you. Customers trust you. Staff ask you the hard questions. Things that aren't written down anywhere are easily recalled in your brain. That's part of why the business survived. But the same thing that helped you build the business can become the thing that makes it harder to transition. So the goal is to show business buyers or investors that the business is transferable. The first issue is owner dependence. A simple test you can use is what I call the coma test. If you were unexpectedly away from the business for 90 days, what would happen? Would customers, staff, and suppliers get looked after? If the answer is no, then the business may be profitable, but it is still heavily dependent on you. And that doesn't mean it's worthless, but it does mean a buyer will either pay less, ask for a longer handover, require vendor finance, or walk away. And this is where team depth matters. My chemicals business, TMK Packers, really excited me before I bought in because the owner, Alan, he hadn't worked in the business for years and there was already a strong team in place. A lot of good businesses have a strong owner and a loyal team, but no obvious person who can help carry the transition. And that makes buyers nervous because the buyer is thinking, when the owner steps back, who actually knows what's going on? In a mid-sized private business, it might be an operations manager, a production manager, a senior admin person, maybe a sales lead, or someone who has simply been around long enough to understand the rhythm of the place. There needs to be depth and contingencies, which can be hard with businesses of less than 10 people. Because if the owner is everything, the buyer is not buying an investment, they're buying a job with more risk attached. The fix is simple, but not easy. Start moving knowledge out of your head and into the business. Document the recurring decisions, plan a handover to someone else with energy and talent, and give your best people more responsibility. You don't need a giant corporate manual. You just need the business to become less dependent on memory and more dependent on process and other people. That may do more for the value of your business than another year of sales growth. And one of the reasons TMK Packers has grown so fast is we brought in more talent and spread the risk over a bigger team and revenue base. Problem 2, messy financials. This is very common even for $10 to $20 million businesses, especially where an owner has property and asset holdings linked to the business, but in separate entities. A business can be genuinely profitable, but the accounts don't make that obvious. I worked with an owner for over a year trying to buy his business for more than $10 million, but his properties, assets, and businesses were all intertwined, and we just couldn't figure it out without more information he couldn't supply. Now, 5 common problems are family wages or personal expenses run through the business, rent is above or below market, the owner pays themselves too little or too much, the tax situation isn't clear or up to date, or there are old loans, one-off costs, unusual stock adjustments, or historical expenses that confuse a buyer. To you, that might all be normal, but to a buyer, it creates uncertainty and complexity at valuation time. And uncertainty lowers the price or adds complexity into the terms. So one of the most helpful things you can do before selling is work out the real maintainable profit of the business, and have accounts properly prepared, not just accounting for profit, but real profit after paying someone to do your job. The real profit after normalizing one-off expenses and personal items. Real profit after showing what the business actually produces, even if that means combining multiple entities so an outsider can understand how it all works. Because buyers don't just buy revenue, they buy confidence in future cash flow. If the numbers are messy, confidence drops. Problem 3 is relationship concentration. If one customer is a large percentage of revenue, say over 10%, that is a risk. But even if revenue is spread across lots of customers, there can still be a risk if all those customers rely on products from a single supplier. A buyer will ask, who owns the customer relationships, and will they stay after the owner leaves? Are there contracts or handshakes? How long have they been customers? Do they buy because of the business or because of the owner personally? The practical exercise here is simple. Write down your top 10 customers. Next to each one, write the percentage of revenue, the length of relationship, who manages the relationship, and whether the relationship would survive without you. That one page can tell you a lot. If every important relationship points back to you or back to a small group of suppliers, you have some explaining to do at that transition point. If you're an owner thinking about stepping back, the question is not just, what is my business worth? The better question is, how transferable is my business? Because a transferable business is easier to sell. It's easier to finance. It's easier to hand over, and easier for the next person to protect. And for many private businesses, the best outcome is not a sudden sale. It is a staged transition. That might mean the owner stays involved for 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, or even longer. It might mean the buyer starts taking over operations. It might mean the owner reduces from 5 days a week to 3 and then 1. It might mean part of the price is paid up front and paid over time. It might mean the owner keeps the property and leases it to the business. It might mean the owner sells part first and the rest later. There is no single correct structure, but the principle is simple. Reduce shock and risk for the buyer. Staff need time, customers need confidence, the buyer needs knowledge. The owner needs an emotional space to get through, and the business needs continuity. A good transition protects all of those things. The good news is you can improve transferability before you sell. You can reduce owner dependence, you can build depth, you can clean up financials, you can spread the relationships, you can plan a staged handover. None of that requires you to commit to selling tomorrow. It simply gives you more options. This is why I started Business Bridge. I'm not a broker, I'm an operator. I'm interested in businesses where the owner wants a calm, private, respectful path to step back. Whether that means a full purchase, a staged transition, or simply preparing the business properly before making a decision. Some owners are ready now, others are going to be 2 or 3 years away. Even those with key man risk or concentration risk and a bit of unfinished business with the financials. The important thing is to start thinking about the transition before you're exhausted or forced or rushed, before you waste time with hundreds of tire kickers through a local broker. So if you own a large New Zealand business and you're starting to think about stepping back, you don't need to list it publicly tomorrow. You may just need a conversation. No pressure, no public advertising, no tire kickers, just a practical discussion about what would make the business easier to transition. You can find out more at businessbridge.co.nz.